Hey there, I'm an animated Connor Walsh, which is kind of ironic because people say I'm pretty animated in real life. Anyway, welcome to Walsh Wednesday, my new/old podcast. Let me explain. Back in high school in 2013, I was pressured by some friends to do an impromptu solo acoustic performance in my cafeteria. Believe it or not, people really took to it. And it turned into a monthly musical series I did through the rest of high school. Who said High School Musical wasn't realistic? By college, I turned Walsh Wednesday into a web series, focusing on interviews surrounding community events, charities, and local entertainment in the Hudson Valley and capital regions of New York. Walsh Wednesday spawned several spin-offs such as the Walsh Wednesday Concert Series, Walsh Wednesday Spotlights, and Walsh Wednesday The Reflective Series before its hiatus in 2021. After that, I spent the last 3 years working in radio, honing my craft, conducting unbelievable interviews, traveling to fascinating places, attending mind-blowing events, and meeting some of my personal heroes. Now, with the help of some awesome people I've met along the way, I'm bringing Walsh Wednesday back bigger and better than ever. Let's stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time. Welcome to Walsh Wednesday. On this week's episode of Walsh Wednesday, we're speaking with Councilman Christopher Grant about the PK 5K, the Walk for Wellness, happening on Saturday, April 26th. After that, we're speaking with musician, filmmaker, content creator, and so much more, Frank Palangi. Thank you to our Walsh Wednesday All-Stars, all of those who have generously contributed to the Walsh Wednesday 2025 Fund Drive. You can see the list of names on screen or in the description of this episode. And of course, thank you to our Walsh Wednesday Warriors, Jim Robinson, John Newhall, Meg Boyce, and Jenna Hess. These individuals have pledged $100 or more to Walsh Wednesday for 2025, either through the GoFundMe or our Patreon. This episode of Walsh Wednesday is brought to you by Impact PR and Communications, the Council on Addiction Prevention and Education of Dutchess County Incorporated, Dayrock, Foam & Wash Car Wash, the American Heart Association, and Walsh Valuation. Hey there, and welcome back to Walsh Wednesday. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and we got a great episode lined up for you guys. So one thing that I started doing last year, I got back into running. I did a 5K with Harrison Mark, who you've seen on this program, and boy, did we not know what we were getting ourselves into at the time, but it's really nice to get back into it. It's really good for physical health. It's really good for mental health. And we have somebody with us today who's actually on a very similar journey. And we're going to be promoting the PK 5K. It's a 5K run and walk to support wellness that's going to be happening here in Poughkeepsie. Really excited about it, and I'm really excited to speak to our guest here from the 6th Ward, Councilman Christopher Grant. Chris, how are you?
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thanks again for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
I'm Christopher Grant, kind of the creator. It's a collaborated event, but it's kind of the creator of the PK 5K. I'm working with Finish Strong, As One Flight, Family Services, and PK Kingdom Classic. They're like a basketball organization.
Oh, that's nice.
So we all came together to kind of, and also Karen from the city of Poughkeepsie. She's actually the youth services coordinator. She's another collaborator on this event, and we all kind of came together. I sparked the idea, and we came together to kind of execute.
That's awesome. And this is the very first year this is happening. This is
the very first year. This
right?
is the inaugural year. I tried to do it last year, and we just didn't get the numbers. So I was like, you know what, I need to step back and kind of reevaluate, bring in a team of people, because it's hard to do everything by yourself. So it's like, and I always think about when people talk about the mastermind, and the mastermind is not the person who does everything himself, but the mastermind is the person who knows, how to place people to get things done, to execute the project properly.
Yeah.
So, and it's just about, it's about collaborating and bringing people together. And, yeah.
Collaboration and delegation is huge.
Collaboration over competition,
No.
That's a big thing for me.
Absolutely. And before we get into the nuts and bolts of the event, I'm very interested in the fact that you tried to do this last year. You weren't defeated. You were like, all right, let's try it for this year.
Right.
So what do you have to say for anybody out there who's trying something, they get knocked down the first time, and then a matter of getting back up again?
I would say just stay persistent and stay confident in yourself, and just know that sometimes it's not the right time. Timing is everything. And if you have an idea and you think it's a great idea, try it. Even if it doesn't work out, try it, because you'll never know unless you try it. So I say, even if it doesn't work out the first time around, try it again. A few years back, before I became a council member, I opened up a restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had the breakfast spot. It was at 305 Main Street. And I never been in the restaurant business before, but I did manage a nightclub before. We had a restaurant included, and I know how to cook. So that was one of my things. Like I could start it because I was like, if I get into a situation where I don't have a chef, I know how to cook, so
Yeah.
I'm fine. So it was like a breakfast and brunch bar.
Oh, that's cool.
And the first few months, it was hard. You know, it was hard. It wasn't really working, and you know, at that time, a lot of people give up. And you know, I just stuck with it. I kind of changed my game plan. I decided to be there more, rather than I was doing it like 3 days a week. You know, because I had other obligations. But then I said, you know what, this is only going to work from here every day. So I started going there every morning from 6 to 2, and then next thing you know, like it blew up. Unfortunately, I had to close it because you know the lease expired and there were new owners, and you know they wanted to go in a different direction. So I decided to close it down in hopes that maybe one day I could open it back up, because I think it was a really good time for Poughkeepsie. Everybody enjoyed it, and I still get people today asking me if you know, if I'm opening back up the breakfast spot. So it's pretty cool.
That would be cool. But the fact that you got the opportunity to do that, and you proved to yourself that you could do it. And now, you know, here you are working on this event, working on a number of different things. Were you a council member back then too, or did that come afterwards?
I became a council member December of 2022. I was appointed.
Nice.
You know, I was gonna run when I had the breakfast spot. I was gonna run because I've been doing a lot of community work before that. You know, I was a co-founder of a couple nonprofits, founding member of a couple nonprofits. We used to give kids scholarships. It was just based on community building and just trying to uplift the community and provide better opportunities for the youth in the community. So I was doing that for some years, and then I said, you know, how can I help at a higher capacity? So I was gonna run for it when I had the breakfast spot open, but you know, I decided that I just opened it. It wasn't the right time. My team needed me here, you know. So I changed my mind, and then it came back up. The seat opened back up again December 2022, and I was appointed.
Nice.
You know, and then I had to run an election the following year, 23, and then I won. And this year is also an election year. So
oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Absolutely. But no, I think that's great. I think the theme that I'm getting out of this already is the right timing.
Right.
And I think that's it's a big thing that a lot of people out there, they're always trying to rush things.
Right.
Everybody wants that instant gratification, and they want to just be like, I want it now.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen right away, they're just like, forget it.
Yeah, and they forget about it, and they lose confidence. And I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes if something doesn't happen the way I want it to happen, sometimes my confidence gets a little shot, but then I think back on everything that I've tried in my life. And I always say, and I'm like, you know what, Chris? I'm like, everything you tried has always worked out.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I don't know why you doubt yourself when everything that you tried, it might not have worked out in the beginning, but eventually it worked out to the vision how you saw it. So
yeah,
it's you know, I just stick with it and never think that you have a bad idea. Always try it. Always
try it. Absolutely. As somebody who, you know, I struggle with anxiety to a degree, and the biggest thing with anxiety is the fear of the future, and it's all the things that are being stacked up.
Right.
But it's from that inactivity, from not doing it.
Yeah.
I always feel better when I'm doing it.
When I do it, even if it didn't work out, I always feel better that at least I know.
Exactly.
At least I know the feeling of getting it done, executing, and saying, all right, maybe this wasn't it.
Exactly.
You know, that's better than what if.
Exactly.
Right.
Like I used to say all the time back in high school, like, I'd rather regret doing something than regret doing nothing at all.
Right.
That was like my motto from like, I think I came up with that like sophomore year, and it's led me to this and all this other stuff. But now I think with talking about the persistence, you have persevered to create the PK 5K. Let's talk about that again. That's going to be at Bartlett Park. There's going to be live music, medals for finishers. It's going to be great for physical and mental health and people of all ages. Can you tell us more about this event?
Right. Well, yeah, and like I said, you know, the what sparked me to create this event was I could always feel like when my body is not right, you know. So I was feeling a little weird. Never really felt like this before. So I went to the doctor, and that's when I learned that my blood pressure was 170 over like 100, and I was like, whoa. And the lady was like, hey, you might have to go on medication. And I know, well, in my head, I always think that medication is meant to keep you on medication. It's not meant to actually cure you. So I was like, the best medication is physical fitness and eating right. So I just decided running. I woke up one morning, the next morning, and I said, you know, I'm going to go run. Ran 2 miles.
You literally hit the ground running.
Literally hit the ground running, and ran 2 miles. And I think this started back in in like maybe March.
Okay.
And then I went back to the doctor in August, and everything was like completely reversed. She was like, everything is normal, your numbers are good, everything is good. She was like, what did you do? And I was like, I just been running every day. And, you know, I stick to a time schedule where I eat. I only eat, you know, between 12 and 8. And I was really strict about that. I was really strict about running 2 miles a day. And even if I didn't get to 2 miles, I would always run every day. Most days it was 2 miles. 99% of the time it was 2 miles a day. So, and then I said to myself, and I'm like, you know, I'm thinking of my son, and I'm thinking of all the kids. You know, youth is one of my biggest platforms, is youth development. And I run the City of Poughkeepsie Youth Baseball League too. I'm the president of that league.
Oh, terrific.
So I was thinking about, you know, being here for my son as long as I can, you know, and I just decided to change my health around. And I think about the kids in the City of Poughkeepsie and you know, a lot of the kids I grew up with, and looking at them now and seeing kids my age that died of heart failure or, you know, things like that. And I'm just like, I don't want that for the kids of the future. Yeah. So let's create this PK 5K. The lady Nikki Chung, who runs As One Flight, I was actually coming off of a run at Spratt Park, and I saw her one morning getting ready to start a walk. And she does like nature hikes. She's very into wellness. And I said, hey, what's going on? You know, we talked for a little bit, and I was like, you know, we should do a 5K.
Nice.
I was like, we should start a 5K, and she was with it. So we got to like I said, we got to the drawing board and started mapping it out. We wanted to do it last year, it didn't work out. So I was like, but we're gonna execute this. We're gonna pull this off. You know, I'm gonna feel bad if I don't get to pull this off. You know,
yeah,
because I really believe in it. And it's physical wellness, mental wellness, and we understand how important that is, you know, to the success of life. It's the feeling good about yourself, feeling good in your mind. And a lot of people don't realize that physical fitness often yields mental wellness.
Big time.
You know, so the better you feel about yourself physically is the better you start to feel about yourself when you think about yourself. So we just want kids to be active. We want kids to feel good about themselves, and we want them to be productive humans.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? And a part of this 5K that you got going on, there's a children's route, and then there's the regular regular race
5K,
route.
right?
Yeah. So you want to talk about that?
So I thought, I again thinking about the kids, I thought it would be a good idea.
Try not to kill them too much with the 5K.
Right. You know, tried to make the high school kids could do it.
Yeah.
But you know, I was like, I want kids involved, but I don't know if they could do the whole 5K. So there's a little road on the map here, a circular road that's near the park, and it's in the middle of the route where kids could do that 2 laps, and it gives them 1 mile.
Nice.
You know, so I just, like I said, I want kids to feel good about being active, and I, you know, not wanting to be at home on the game all the time. Like my son, he gets up, especially when he doesn't have school, and he wants to play games, but he knows like we have to do some form of education and some form of exercising before you get to the video games and the tablets and all that stuff. So I just want that to be a norm in the community. I want all kids to be ready to run and ready to play and ready to be active.
Absolutely.
And even thinking about their mental health, because my vision for where I see this going is I want to be able to support programs like that. If there's a kid who wants to join a basketball team or a gym and they can't afford it, what I want to do is be able to generate funds to be able to say, okay, we're pushing wellness initiative. If you need to go to a gym and your family can afford it, reach out to us. We might have some funds or resources to do that for you. If you need to go see as a child, if you need to go see a therapist or anything like that, we want to be able to say, okay, you can't afford that. Let's see what we can do to kind of supplement or to make it easier on the family. So kids are, you know, because we're worrying about kids' wellness, because like we said, there's a guy who just, a football player, Kevin Lacey.
Oh yeah.
I think it's Lacey. He just committed suicide, and the dad was saying like, you can't see when people are having mental health. A lot of times you can't see that, you know, you can't see it. They appear normal, and we never know. So we just want kids to know that they're supported, and that, you know, we want to be able to help provide that support to them. So hopefully, you know, I get some, you know, therapists and psychologists that want to get on board just to be able to offer services.
Yeah. Actually, I know some people. After this, just remind me to try to get you guys in touch. I think that would be good. I think this is absolutely terrific. And one thing that you've been promoting through this entire episode is the consistency that you bring to your life and the consistency that you are bringing to your family's life. Right. And going back to what I was saying about the anxiety, when I find consistency in what I do, that lowers
anxiety
it.
Levels goes down.
Big time.
Absolutely.
So what do you tell yourself on those days where it's hard to keep that consistency?
I actually tell myself something that my son said to me one day when, because I usually bring him to the track with me if I go to the track and let him ride his bike, or I'll make him, he plays sports, so I'll say, you got to do one lap kicking your soccer ball around the track before you could do anything else. So one day just wasn't feeling like, I just didn't feel like getting up, and he came up to me and he goes, because he knows I'm checking my time too, and he goes, Dad, are you gonna run today? And I was like, man, I don't know, I'm pretty tired. And he goes, come on, Dad, it's only 20 minutes. And I was like, you're right. I could do 2 miles in 20 minutes. You're right. So I always tell myself that. Or I like to make a joke. I tell my friends in a joke, I'm like, when I'm in the gym and the sets is getting hard, I'm like, sometimes I say to myself in DJ Khaled's voice, I'd be like, another one,
Yes.
So I just like to tell myself things, or I even talk crap to myself. If I'm feeling like slowing down, even when I'm running, I feel like stopping, I start talking junk to myself, you know what I'm saying? Just to get myself hype. So that's how I keep myself motivated, just thinking about my son and what he says and that he's watching. And like I said, I do the DJ Khaled, like another one, like, just to keep myself like motivated, just to keep going. And I'll say to myself, like, yo, you could do this. Like, you're stronger than this. Like, you're going to let this run tire you out. Like, keep going. So that's how I keep myself going. Just telling myself things and thinking about the things that my son says to me. So that's how I like to keep myself motivated and keep going.
That is so, so good. Not only is it just a great mindset, it's like, it's only 20 minutes.
Right.
It's only 20 minutes. But not just that, it was from your son's mouth.
Right.
So that's...
he was like, come on, Dad, it's only 20 minutes. And I was like, you know what, you're right.
You're right.
Boom, let's go. Let me get dressed.
Fantastic. So talking about this 5K then, again, it's Saturday, April 26th, starting there at Bartlett Park. You guys are taking people registering like right up to the event, right?
Yeah, I'm taking people registering. Today is actually the last day. Today's April 14th. Today's the last day to register to get a shirt for the event. But I'm taking registration up until the night before. So
amazing.
It'll be open until the night before. I'll close it probably midnight on the 26th, midnight, like the 25th night, that night. So, I just want people to come out. And, some of my friends, they call me and they say, hey, do we have to run? I'm like, no, you don't have to run. I'm like, you don't. Yeah. You could walk. And I'm encouraging people to have teams, I have one lady, she's actually a constituent of mine in the 6th Ward. She said, hey, me and a group of my friends from work, we're having a team. We're coming to the run. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So it's just about, just come out. Just come out and walk. It's community building. Yep. It's, we're promoting wellness. We have another health and wellness. I try to combine the words, but
it doesn't quite come off that well. Hellness is like
hellness sounds crazy. But, but like I said, we're promoting teens. We have Sun River Health as a sponsor. Planet Fitness is a sponsor.
Oh, amazing.
We Community Foundations is a sponsor. Family Services is a sponsor, and that's it. We've actually had people from the community who signed on and run sign up to donate. Some might have just donated only $2, some donated $20. So it's just I thought it'd be a good idea to reach out to a bunch of different like wellness businesses or organizations. Like, this is a good thing. Planet Fitness, they jumped on it quick. I wanted to get Fleet Feet. They do their own stuff. The timing didn't add up from, when we were able to connect, but, they said, we'll promote the race for you. So it's just, like I said, it's a community building event. It's to promote wellness in the community for the youth, for adults, for everybody. So I just want, we need volunteers. We're still looking for sponsors. You could actually sponsor, you could email us at poughkeepsierun@gmail.com, or you can, sponsor our run sign up /PK5K. There's a donate button there. So, and even if you want to volunteer, we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. We're having even Think Differently is doing a sensory tent there. And one of my things is inclusive. Bartlett Park is in my ward, and I want to create that park as the first inclusive park in the city of Poughkeepsie, to where people with developmental disabilities can join in and use the park and utilize the park. Right now, the way it's set up, if a kid with a wheelchair goes there, they can't go to the playground. And I don't think that's fair, So it's all about inclusivity. And like I said, what is it? Think Differently. Dutchess County Think Differently is doing a sensory tent. They wanted to do their Think Differently dash this day, but they're going to do it with the PK5K next year, because they already had theirs set up. And I think it's at the park down in Taconic somewhere. But they
next year y'all want to merge.
Next year they want to actually. They asked me if there a space to do our run in the park too, and I said there's more than enough space. So I think that's really big, So a lot of people like it. A lot of people are they love the mission.
Yep.
They want to be involved, and I think that's great.
I think that is great. The collaboration and the team building
Right.
that you're talking about here is huge. I remember when in high school, our lacrosse team would do a bunch of different charity 5Ks in
Right.
the area, and we would run as a team, and we would always be pushing each other and always helping each other. And then, of course, like we see friends, we see family members, whether they're from the school or from outside of it. That was huge, and that was able to push us forward. It made us very aware what was going on in the community. And then, as I said, getting back into running this past year, when I went with my buddy Harrison, the fact that it was the two of us running together, it made the whole experience so much easier. It gave ourselves a sense of accountability. And we were able to push ourselves. And then our friend Rachel and my girlfriend Alex, they came along with us, and they're rooting us on.
Right.
Whether you're the one running or walking or just there to support, all of it is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love to see it happening here in Poughkeepsie.
Right.
That's phenomenal.
And even touch on accountability. I have a cousin. We grew up together. We went to elementary school together. We didn't go to the same high schools, but he lives in Connecticut now, or Massachusetts now.
Okay.
And he was coming up. Whenever he was in town, we would run together. Or he would, we would just like, I would run, and then I would clock my run and then post it on Instagram and tag him, and then he'd be like, "Oh, I'll be out there later." And then that's how we were keeping each other accountable.
Good for you.
So he doesn't know, but he actually helped me stay consistent a little bit too over that stretch when I was running every day.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. Snapchat with Harrison and I. That's what we do. And be like, "Yo, I'm at the gym. Where are you at? What are you doing?"
I'm like, "Look at my time." I tag him, and he's like, "Oh, I got you. I'll be out there in a minute."
Yep. No,
So
but
it was
that's
cool.
good.
He helped me stay consistent, and we were pushing each other. He actually does MMA. You know, he fights. So, you know, it's a good workout for him and
That's
good workout for me.
very good workout. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I got a couple of cousins who get into that.
Right,
Oh
right.
my God, the shape that they're in.
You know,
I wish I could get there.
he's asked me before. He's like, "Hey, why don't you why haven't you come to a fight?" And I was like, "You know, honestly, I watch it on TV." I said, because I don't want to jump in if you're getting beat up.
That familial instinct be like,
you
"Yo,
know?
that's my cousin. What you doing?"
I was like, I don't want to have to jump in if you lose it. So I was like, I'll just watch it on TV.
There you go. Have a safe distance where you know it's like, trust me, I feel that. It's like that's my family. You ain't gonna do that to me.
Right.
Oh my God, but that's amazing. And I'm glad that you have an accountability person. It sounds like you got a lot of people in your life to help keep you accountable and vice versa. And I think that's so important. And then for all the people who need to be accountable out there, where can they go to register?
Runsignup.com/PK5K. You could also follow us on our Instagram at PK5K. Or no, it's actually, sorry, Poughkeepsie Run. On Instagram, you can follow us. The links are there. You can follow me. All the links are on all my social media. My council social media is Chris Grant for PKNY. You can follow me there. The link is in there. My personal Instagram is Chris Grant NY. You can follow me there. The link is in there. So, and like I said before, PK5K runsignup/PK5K. And there's a donate button. If you want to volunteer, you could email me at poughkeepsierun@gmail.com.
Terrific. And of course, we'll have all the links and information in the description of this episode. So regardless of where you're listening, we got it all for you. Chris, this has been a great conversation. I'm really appreciative for this. I hope everything goes well.
I appreciate
I wish
that.
I could be there. I'm actually officiating a wedding that day.
Nice.
But
Next year
definitely.
you'll be there.
Don't get married a second time, guys. I'm only doing it once. But that's fantastic. Before we completely wrap up, do you have any last little nugget that you want to leave for the Walsh Wednesday listening audience?
We're also bringing back the Caribbean Festival in August. It'll be at Warriors Park. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be promoting that soon.
Okay. I'm just there for the food. I'm ready to eat.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot. We're gonna have. I spoke to a bunch of the Caribbean restaurants in the city of Poughkeepsie, so there's gonna be a lot of vendors. We're gonna have a jerk chicken contest and just a whole lot of stuff. I'm not gonna give it all out right now, but just be on the lookout for that information. If you follow my social media, you'll see it coming up.
Oh my God. I'm hungry thinking about it. That sounds good. Chris, thanks so much for coming on.
It was nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Connor.
And I'm Chris.
And as always, we're glad we get to
spend some time.
I'm the ad ref calling a timeout on this week's episode to tell you about our sponsors.
Baseball has umps, you idiot.
I don't have an umpire outfit, okay? Sue me. Hey there, I'm the ad ref calling a timeout on this week's episode to tell you about our sponsors. Right now, we have a word from the American Heart Association. Hey there, I'm Connor Walsh, host of the award-nominated New York-based talk show, the Walsh Wednesday podcast, here to talk to you about the Hudson Valley Heart Walk. The Hudson Valley Heart Walk will take place on the walkway over the Hudson on Saturday, April 26th. Walkers and runners can start on either side of the bridge. Check-in and activities will begin at 8:30 and the walk will step off at 9:30 a.m. Did you know heart disease is the #1 killer of all Americans and stroke is number 5? But don't worry, there is some good news. Most of it is preventable with lifestyle changes. And what a better way to start making those changes than on one of the Hudson Valley's greatest landmarks. Pre-event activities include hands-only CPR demonstrations, a paparazzi area for all of our furry friends, a kids zone, Growing for Tomorrow gardening area, and a Top Walker area. During the event, there will be a moment to honor loved ones lost to heart disease and stroke, and a moment to celebrate survivors. The event has a goal of raising $350,000. To participate and to donate, visit DuchessUlsterHeartWalk.org. I'm glad we get to spend some time saving lives. I'll see you there on April 26th. All right, next up to the plate, we got...
You're still not an umpire.
All right, that's enough out of you. You're out of here.
Oh, come on.
Next up to the plate, we have our friend Filomena Finelli from Impact PR and Communications. Filomena?
Thanks, Connor. I'm Filomena Finelli, CEO of Impact PR and Communications and a media maven, which is a fancy way of saying that my team and I help companies get in the news, transform leaders into thought leaders, and cut through the clutter with messaging that matters. And we do it all with a smile. Our agency was named the Woman-Owned Small Business of the Year for 2024 by the Metro New York District Office of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and we received the Gold Stevie Award for Women-Run Workplace of the Year, which is an international recognition. But it's not about the awards, it's about the personal interactions. We at Impact PR and Communications pride ourselves on crafting meaningful, results-driven public relations campaigns that are tailored to meet and exceed our clients' goals. If you want to learn more and talk to my team and I, visit prwithimpact.com and let us know that you found out about us from Walsh Wednesday. Now back to you, Ad Ref.
Thanks, Filomena. Now on deck, we got Foam and Wash Car Wash. Hey there, I'm Connor, and this is my car. Kidding. It's not that bad, but I do really need a car wash, though. Did you know that the spring is one of the busiest times for car washes? It's because everybody's washing off all of the winter grime along with the new spring pollen. Introducing the Walsh Wednesday fundraiser. And no, that is not a typo. Walsh Wednesday is partnering up with Foam and Wash Car Wash. With 12 convenient locations within the Hudson Valley, Foam and Wash Car Wash is a local family business born in the 1960s, specializing in fast and convenient services in first-class facilities with friendly and courteous staff. By going to the Walsh Wednesday fundraiser link, which you can find on screen or in the description of this episode, you can purchase the ticket for a ceramic wash or a hot wax that can be redeemed and used at any of their 12 locations. A portion of those proceeds helps to benefit the Walsh Wednesday podcast in supporting local arts and local businesses. The fundraiser goes until Thursday, May 15th. Thanks for the support and happy washing. Lastly, we got a message from a very stylish young man here to talk to you about the Walsh Wednesday merch store. The Walsh Wednesday merch store is officially open. Now you can have my face on your body. That didn't come out right. When you visit the Walsh Wednesday merch store, you can select from hats, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. By purchasing some Walsh Wednesday merchandise, you're not only supporting this program, but you're also supporting the local arts and organizations that are featured. Just visit cmjwentertainment.com/shop-merch and use promo code REVIVAL for 20% off. All links are in the description. I decided to work with Teespring for my merch store because, well, I was already buying from them. They have comfortable and durable products, and their printing is clear and reliable. One of my favorite hoodies is from my friend's Teespring collection, Offbeat Threads. To learn how to start your own online collection, visit teespring.com. And of course, I hope you get to spend some time at the Walsh Wednesday merch store. Thanks, guys. That's enough out of me. Play ball. Hey there, and welcome back to Walsh Wednesday. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and I am so excited for you to be here. And I'm excited to be speaking with this guest today. We have had interviews a couple times back at the radio station. This is his first time on Walsh Wednesday. He is a musician, he is a producer, he's got his own studios, and he's making films. So I'm so excited to speak with him today. With us is Frank Palangi. Frank, how are you? And cheers, by the way.
Hello, everybody. What's going on, man?
I love the merch. I love the plugs and everything.
There's nothing in here, though.
I'm not going to drop this over because I actually do have water in here. But
There you go.
mind you, please go to the Walsh Wednesday merch store and the Palangi Studios merch store. Make sure
There
that
you
you
go.
check it all out. But again, Frank, thanks so much for being on. I'm glad that we're able to get you on for Walsh Wednesday. This is awesome.
Anytime, man. Since the radio station, it's like you're starting your own thing, so got to get in on there.
Exactly. Get you in now. But you got a lot of great things going on. And of course, Palangi Studios. We can see part of your studio behind you, of course. You work in music, you work in recording, you work in films. You have so many different hats. So let's give you a second to talk about that. What exactly is Palangi Studios, and what is it that you're setting out to do as an artist?
It's evolved over the years because when I first started out, it was just like, recording some demos and doing some music and playing some live shows. And then that got more serious, and I put my film stuff to the side. I used to make fan films. That's how it all started. Since 9 years old, it's making these films on VHS cameras and all that kind of stuff. And so when I decided to make the leap and be like, all right, let's take music more professional, went to Nashville, did the thing, started opening up for national acts and stuff. And then you realize where artists always need, film with their music videos and stuff too. So I think that helped me with my music videos, even though I didn't direct them, that I was going through and experienced all these things and could lend some creative knowledge or just to know where to look and how to act on camera. And then so I've always tinkered with mixing and mastering, and I've always produced either existing artists or people that just have no experience at all, going through and like writing all the instruments for them or helping them with the lyrics and all that. So like a couple of years ago, I decided, well, let's make the website and the Facebook pages and then do the same thing for the film stuff. There's a little company in California that offered me a movie agreement, which I was waiting 20 years for something like this. They're like, if you make a movie, we will put it out on like Tubi and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, really?
Hell yeah.
So these are no budget movies, of course, but we'll talk about the journey a little bit, but yeah, it's just, helping up and coming artists and then doing work. You can be anywhere. Like I could play guitar on your record and you could be anywhere. I could just do it here digitally. I send your stuff too. And so it's nice just to help out even other filmmakers that are like, we need like some music or something in this part. Like I can do it. I'll just throw it right in there, do that. I'd rather not miss opportunity than, kind of let it go.
No, I hear you.
So,
Absolutely.
It's evolved. It's a home studio, obviously, and it's evolved from like a garage to a bedroom to this is the first floor here. I'm always tinkering, though. It's like you're never done with tinkering and gear and learning.
The moment that you think that you're done learning is probably the moment that you're screwed the most. So to be able to
Yeah, it's probably when you need to retire.
Yeah, probably. No, you got to be able to keep evolving with everything. So you mentioned that you've worked with and opened for a lot of national acts. I'm trying to remember the whole list of people that you worked with. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe one of my favorites you worked with. Did you work with Three Doors Down at one point?
We recorded drums in their studio. Yup. And Chris called me the internet guy. I remember. He's like, you're the internet guy, right? So back then, like my first producer, I kind of pissed people off with what we all do today on social media with tagging, hashtags, posting things. I had a video diary series before anybody was like really doing that kind of stuff. And they hated it. They're like, dude, stop tagging me. I go, I'm telling you, this is the way of the future. They didn't believe me. And then now they're like, can you tag me and everything?
Exactly. Funny enough, Frank, I was the exact same way. People hated me back in high school when I'm trying to like plug all my shows. I'm going to be playing at the Chance. I'm going to be playing over here in Albany. I'm actually going down to the city to play. Oh my God. And people are like, good for you. But like, shut up. We're tired of like being tagged and all this stuff. And
now it's just a daily feed that people are like, yup, that's what's going on.
And also what you said about the tagging, like everything that I do for Walsh Wednesday, everybody's like, hey, can you tag me or invite me as a collaborator? I need this on my page. And it's like, saw this coming. We knew it.
Yep.
We knew it.
You can do the same too.
Oh, don't worry. This is going to get tagged and all that.
Now it's acceptable, everybody.
Exactly. See, we told you so.
I don't want to say much, but like I've always seen, because I grew up with the technology and all this stuff happened, and I kind of could tell where things shift. Because I was younger and all that, I didn't have the quality gear, and I didn't have the money to. If I did, like if I was where I am now back then, with the quality gear and the music being kind of, more than like demo stuff that you'd send out stuff, there would have been a lot more possibility and opportunities. And now it's so watered down or spread thin, and there's like so many things going on, and there are so many opportunities, but really nothing pays anymore. And you have AI technology come in, and you have other people that can just, what I remember when like the guy's like, well, I'm starting to program drums. To me, that was like the start of AI, because I'm like, well, you're not using a real drummer?
Yeah.
No, we're just going to program a beat and then do the songs. And you've heard it on songs on the radio. They're not even real. They're programmed
Yeah.
drums. I thought that was a little maybe odd to start with. And I go, okay, this is where it's going.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it just sounds just as good. We're talking like 2012 or something. And it was like, it sounds just as good as a real drum kit. Back then, it did not sound
No.
just as good. Nowadays,
sometimes
you
it's
get damn close.
You can get damn close, but you can also tell. Like when I'm listening to the radio, I'm like, yeah, no, this was overly produced. Oh, that's a real band. Oh my God. Every time I'm like listening to a song, it's like, I'm pretty sure this is a real band. Holy cow, this is a real band. Like I get excited over that.
Which brings me to the new Purple Haze that released. I wanted it to
Yes.
be a rock band song, like a song so there's no click. We didn't record to a click.
Really, not even a click. It was just
It's unheard
live
of
tracked?
nowadays, right?
You live tracked it?
Yeah, the drummer did, and then I drummed my
Okay.
guitar. I drummed my guitars.
Good.
I tracked my guitars to his drums.
Yep.
So it has that flow and give and take. Because one part I was like, it's a little off on purpose here. And so with my guitar playing, I had to really because I'm used to hitting things kind of more precise. So I had to hit it with a little bit of like a delay. And it works. That's old school.
Yeah.
And so we had, he's a 13-year-old prodigy drummer at the time. He's like 15 or 16 now, and from the UK. And his dad had contacted me. His name's Henry. And he goes, we're doing all this YouTube stuff because we're trying to get him more exposure and things. It'd be great if you did like a collaboration. We did a COVID collaboration of Purple Haze Live, where he recorded the drums and the video on his end. I did it with my end, which was fun. But I go, can you do another take? And I go, let's actually do this as a song release.
Nice.
Granted, it took me 2 years to get done, but it's done. But I wanted it because he was 13 years old recording this, setting up the mics and all that. So it's like it's not the professional studio standpoint, but I was like, what can I do with these drums and how can I make this sound the best? And I go, I know it's a little different and maybe it's a little bit under of what is classified as tight, and you just hear everything perfect nowadays, and the kick is like right up in the mix and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just make it a little old school where it's literally just guitar, drums, vocal.
I was literally listening to it again right before we got onto the mic, and I think it's great. I love it. It's raw. It's great. It's music, and I would not have known that it wasn't like a more professional setup. I would have thought you had somebody in your studio. I would have thought you had somebody in your studio working it. So that just goes to show you the work that you were able to put into it. And this drummer you were working with, this 13-year-old prodigy, are you able to say his name? Who is this guy?
Henry. Yeah.
Henry's his name. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought his dad was Henry. Sorry, my bad.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. You can look him up, but he has recently, I guess, quit music to become a surgeon.
That's a switch. Okay.
Because over there in the UK, you have to pick a major, or you have to pick a
vocation pathway,
something like that. Like you have to. So in picture us in high school thinking like, okay, I have to pick my college degree at 15 years old.
That's tough.
That's what they do back then. So he goes, I quit drums and I'm gonna become like a surgeon now. And my last email to him was like, just don't stop playing, dude. I go, because I mean, this kid's like so good. So good. And he was starting to like really kind of branch out. And he was doing his own music. A drummer doing his own music is very unique.
It is. A lot of the things that you see these days, it's mostly like somebody working on covers, or you see a lot now like mashups of songs. And don't get me wrong, it's fantastic, it's fun, it's entertaining to watch, but you don't see them doing a lot of original music. So that is unique. Whatever, I hope he becomes a phenomenal surgeon, but also at the same time, I hope he keeps rocking. I hope he keeps doing something on the side, because
my experience, he might be 20, but he'll come back, you know, or something maybe at some point. But I do understand. But I'm just like, this kid could have 16 years old, he probably could have got a job with freaking Journey or whoever.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, man. But there is an interview with us. I got one interview on my radio show, but it's on YouTube if you guys want to watch it too. With
Links
me.
in the description. We'll have it.
Yeah, it'll all be there. It's different versions, and I love the live version that we did during COVID. It was no, that was in D standard for guitar players out there. I've always played it in D standard, but for some reason, I was like, this track. I was like, I wonder if I could do it in the original tuning, but still have it be a hard rock song.
Yeah.
And it was a little higher to sing, but not really like out of the range. So I was like, okay,
Hey, you're able to get it. It sounded good. It sounded
yeah.
good. And of course,
I broke my own rule, man. I broke it. D standard to drop C stuff. I broke it. I've never released a song in E in my whole life.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, wow. Well, hey, again, the evolution and trying things. Absolutely.
Yes.
And of course, you can check out Frank's cover of Purple Haze. We'll have that in the links in the description of this. You can stream it wherever you stream it on music. I was checking out the lyric video on YouTube, so check that all out, of course.
Yeah.
So fantastic stuff, Frank. And speaking of the studio, how you say people could be literally anywhere and you'd be able to work with them, and you're kind of fluid that way. You're kind of able to do things just about anywhere.
Different genres too. Not necessarily just rock and stuff,
But at one point, things were a little bit different for you in the very physical sense of the studio. I don't mean to bring up harsh memories by any means, but lightning struck, literally. Yes. Would you want to talk about kind of like rising from the ashes from that and the growth to what you have now after a literal freak of nature incident?
Like, you got to hit the lotto like 8 times, man. 8 times. I was like, I wish I did.
Yeah. The odds of it. My God.
Yeah, I mean, because you were the first interview when I was in the apartment and that happened. Like, I think I had done like maybe an audio interview, but that was the first video interview. I even had to go out and buy a webcam because I didn't have any. I remember.
Oh my God.
That kept me busy, and then I started my own radio show. But yeah, I mean, lightning hit and it started the house on fire, and I lost the studio, and this whole back room here was all incinerated.
Oh my God.
And so it took that was I had wrote a song called Fire of Love, and it happened 3 days after the song release.
Oh, the irony.
I had just was over there, and I just released a video of me kind of playing to the track 3 or 4 days before that too. And so that was like the last thing I ever could, obviously could do. And I just think because that took, and it was during COVID still, it was 2021, It was still there. So it took me 3 years to really bounce back, get back into teaching lessons, recording. But then I was stuck there with, I literally don't have anything to do. Like, I don't have anything. And so one of the first things was, I think I had it set up or something from the other day, but I grabbed my camera, my filmmaking camera, and it was on the tripod, and I grabbed it with a charger, and literally that was the first thing that I came out of the house with when it happened. That and my I don't have it anymore. I had an acoustic guitar, like an Ovation. Those are the only 2 things that I grabbed.
Wow.
So I was like sitting here, and I go, I got my camera stuff still, and the fans had started to go fund me, so that was great, and I was starting to like at least get a computer and some things to do this stuff with. So that's when the guy had contacted me from California about the movies. He goes, if you make a movie, we'll put it out. And I go, I literally have nothing.
Oh no.
Right now. So I go, I'll do it because I got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So that was the 6 months of making the Lost Chronicles of that first movie and just kind of gathering things and trying to rebuild stuff. And then I decided, hey, I'll get my Berkeley certification for rock guitar. I'm not doing a single thing, you know what I mean? So I did turn it into another scenario. I just wasn't sitting there and be like, I literally lost everything and this is the end. And, there was definitely like those moments, but
I'm sure there was the moments, but one thing that you're pretty much famous for at this point, no plan B. That has been like your mantra for so long. And would you like to, tell our listeners what that's been like for you? No plan B.
There's just so many ups and downs, and there's so many things that do fail, and you just got to keep going. I think it's my desire to progress, but then I'm not where I want to be. That's another quote that I personally say to myself all the time. And I think that's glued onto that is if you have no plan B and you love what you're doing, you're not going to stop. I've loved this stuff since I was a kid. I am not going to stop unless I'm physically maybe not able to. You know what I mean? That was another thing during COVID is I completely lost my voice. I can only talk for maybe like an hour, so I'd
Oh
be
no.
teaching lessons and I'd be just gone. And I'm like, I can't sing. I can only sing for like 10 minutes.
Oof.
So I'm
My
still
God.
not 100% up to where I used to sing like all the time, bar gigs and stuff, like, opening for the bands and stuff. And I was practicing, I was just singing and singing and singing. I'm like, I don't think I could sing a 3 hour gig anymore.
3 hour gigs are tough. And especially like those 3 hour bar gigs where they only want you to do covers. Like, as somebody of your status, you ought to be doing something bigger and better than that these days.
I know, unfortunately, in the music world, I mean, a lot of stuff, that's the only stuff that pays.
It's true. It's
Might get your
changed so
name out there
much.
and people are like, oh, I seen you with this and this and this. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't make a dollar.
Mm,
Literally didn't make a dollar. So it's, it's like, thing I want to stress to people is like, you can't keep doing this without fan support and
yeah.
stuff. You just can't. Like if they're like, oh, we love seeing you with the Buck Cherry and the Trapped and all the Fuel and all them, and they're like, why don't you do another show like that and stuff? And I'm like, I literally like I would need more fan support to keep it going because we don't make money off those shows.
It costs. Everything costs. How many times I've done shows and I've lost more money than I gained, you
Yeah.
know? And I remember when I was working for this one venue called Pauly's Hotel, and I'd be booking all these different acts, we would get stiffed on the money, things wouldn't come through. So I would take the money out of my salary for the night of booking the bands, running sound. I took my own money and gave it to the bands because I didn't want them leaving with a bad taste in their mouth. And then with
Yeah.
$2, I would go over to the pizza place right across the street and have one slice of pizza, and that was my only meal for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it was like. And it's still like that, especially in a post-pandemic world. It's really crazy to think about.
It is. It is tough. And like I'm trying to do a GoFundMe for this new movie that I'm doing, and
Yes, I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
If I'm got that correct, At Death's Door, and it's based off a book. Could you go
Yeah.
into that and why people should go fund it?
Well, I've released 4 horror movies on Tubi and all these platforms and stuff, and then the first 3 movies are re-edited into a TV series coming out too, which is
Oh,
kind of
that's
cool.
cool.
That's called Echoes of Nightmares. So it's all surrounded around that Lost Chronicles and stuff. But I had made American Psychopath, which is out on YouTube right now. It's coming to like Fossum and Trauma TV and some of the other places out there. And that was my first real branch because the other one were like a trilogy of movies, and I branched out into like a serial killer type movie. And I was like, can I do another movie that's one story and then kind of do something that's different and this and this. So I did that, and then this guy contacted me, had me on his podcast, and he goes, I'm a book writer, I do autobiographies and this, and he goes, I have tons of stuff. So I was like, okay, I've never done this before, where I take a dude's book and like Stephen King thing and make a movie based off of it. Because it's a little hesitant, because I'm like, it's somebody else's work. It's not my own work.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
I
their
mean?
baby. You're taking their baby and like trying to
Mhm.
do something new with it.
But luckily, though, he said, this is a book of 20 short stories. And he
Oh,
goes,
okay.
so it's not full ideas. So he goes, you can expand on it and this and this. So that's what we're doing now. The first short's called Everyone Has One. That'll be free on YouTube in about a week. So that's a sample of the anthology movie that we're doing now. So if you like that, you like the trailer, I will release a trailer for each short, but I won't show them to anybody. So you'll have to wait till the feature is done. But we're trying to raise a little bit more money to get this feature done because we need some more blood and makeup and costumes and that kind of stuff. So
Yep. No, it makes sense.
a
Absolutely.
little
And
bit of
that's
advertising. I'm like, okay. You know,
advertising does make a big difference too on that. Oh my God. But this is so cool that you're able to work on this and you're being able to expand this guy's idea. I'm excited
Yeah.
about this anthology. One thing,
Christopher Pelton, that's his name.
Christopher Pelton, sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I just got to remind people, some of our favorite horror franchises did start out small, but then grew to bigger lengths. Take the Terrifier series, for
Every
instance.
one of them almost, right?
Yeah. Take the Terrifier series. That started out, as you're saying, as these anthologies on YouTube. And just this last holiday season, they released Terrifier 3 for a national release.
For millions of dollars, right?
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
just goes to show you it all starts from somewhere. So if you like something and you're enjoying an anthology series online, it's like support it, because one day you might be getting that big national release and the whole world's enjoying it. So
Exactly.
I'm looking
Even if
forward to
it's a
that day.
director, like if say like me or my work sort of thing, follow that actor, director, whoever it is, and try to support them through the stuff because it is really tough. I would like to say it's weird because I go, it's nothing wrong with it. Like I do no budget movies, but they're direct to video. Do you remember that term, direct to
Yes.
video?
Yes.
And people for that, they hear that and they run. You know what I mean? They're like, get out of here.
Well, just say streaming. It's a streaming exclusive. That's what you got to
Exactly.
say.
But it's still low budget movies.
Yeah.
And as the support grows, then you can do more. So even though you're like, I might like Frank and I like this one, but maybe I don't like his other movies or something. If you support all of it, it'll grow into something. Because I have not reached my peak or anything at all because I'm doing this in all what I can do. Limited budgets, the lights I have, the camera I have, all that kind of stuff. So it's growing, it's expanding, but I'm like, can you imagine if I had the resources of, I don't know, even what they did on Terrifier 2?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what I mean? To have a DP where I could just focus on directing and this and this. So, or to work with somebody else. I do work on other projects, and we mentioned the Doritos commercial.
Yes, I wanted to talk about this. You were in a Super Bowl commercial for Doritos this year, and
Yeah.
you're tying a bunch of loves together. You were a zombie.
Yes, George Romero. Oh yes, it was fun. The guy who did the makeup was from Walking Dead. He's doing makeup for this, what is it? The City of Walking Dead, the one with Negan.
Is that the latest
Negan
one?
Maggie,
I'm
yes, it is.
I'm a little behind on the later.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
He said he did, I think, season 1 of Daryl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Daryl series or something. But he was
Nice.
really good, and he's like, I've done a lot of things. I still do the plaster things. They take your head and plaster it and all that. And
Yeah.
so it was cool to be like working with somebody from that universe to be like, all right, just do the makeup. And my friend's like, you look like Bizarro Superman, though. He goes, because I had
You
kind
kind of
like,
did, actually. You
the
kind of
Clark
do.
Kent shirt and all that stuff. Yeah, and I go, I never thought of that. I go, that would be really cool.
That would be cool. Well, you do kind of give off. You could probably do a good Clark Kent Superman if you ever wanted to get into
Yeah,
that.
I've done a few fan films, but nothing great. Like, because I'm always like, it's so tough to do a Superman
Oh my God, absolutely.
thing.
I know.
Clark,
Well,
maybe.
yeah, I actually had a Superman actor on, David Wilson. So he was on the ABC adaptation of "It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman" in the '70s, and he
Wow.
was talking about like some of the earliest use of green screen and how they were having him fly around and how ridiculous and uncomfortable the whole thing was, and also talking about how he did know Christopher Reeve. He did that 3 years before Christopher Reeve's movies came out.
Oh, he
So
did.
yeah, so that was like right before that.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so but he was just saying back then, it was like we had no budget, we didn't know what we were doing, but
Yeah, the
it just goes to
technology,
show
they
you
didn't know how it worked, so they just tried it, and that's what Star Wars did. They invented it.
exactly. And you
He's like,
never
let me
know.
go into my garage.
Yep. And you never know what you might come up with one of these films. I feel
Sure.
like the more roadblocks that somebody has, the more creative they have to be. And because of that, innovation stems. So
Yes.
it's
There's
amazing
certain
what can
things
come
that are
out of it.
sacrificed. Like even if you look at the original Halloween, they sacrificed certain things because of their budget. Now, if
Yep.
they had unlimited budget, it probably would have been horrible. I don't say horrible, but it wouldn't have been Halloween,
Yeah.
right? Because they probably would have not shot those long types of shots and stuff like that. And I think of that because John Carpenter is like one of my biggest influences, and I'm like, I know why he did that. You add padding to a scene, not
Yeah.
only the vibe. And I tried to do that with American Psychopath because she has amnesia, so she's like
Yeah.
aimlessly wandering around certain places, and I go, it works for that because it's not just a character walking. Like when are we going to see something? She doesn't know where she is.
Yeah,
So
you're adding to the intensity of it. You're building the suspense, and
yeah,
the original Halloween, fantastic. It's actually my girlfriend's favorite horror movie. You should
yeah,
see how many Michael Myers things that she has. Like,
I do too.
dude, the first Christmas ornament that we bought together for our tree was a Michael Myers head. That was the
There you go.
first. That was the first
That's
ornament that
awesome.
we got.
Tell her I have I think 12 Michael Myers masks.
Really,
They're all
really,
rehauled custom by this dude who did the American Psycho mask.
Really?
And I do. So I have a Brad stunt mask from Halloween 6.
Really?
Hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
It's weird because it's old, but it's like latex you've never felt in your life. I'm like, it's not like the store mask. It's not even like the mask people redo. It's
Yeah.
kind of smooth, and I don't know how they made it, but
Interesting. Okay.
I actually haven't worn it yet either. I'm kind of scared to.
You're not exact since you're not sure what it's made of. It's like, do I really want to put this on? Like, what's this going to do to me?
I kind of want to use it for a fan film one day, though. Just be like, this is the actual one of the stunt masks that they didn't use on screen, but it was there. You know what I mean?
That's still cool though. That's fantastic. Yeah, I only got one mask that I bought off Spirit Halloween because she had me dress up as Michael Myers and she was Laurie Strode this past year. So
That's cool.
yeah, we had a lot of fun with
I'll
that.
have to get you guys in a horror movie then.
Oh my God. Alex would love that. Like, obviously, the actor in me would love that, but just the horror Halloween nerd that she is.
I think we mentioned that. I was like,
yeah.
yeah.
No, we're down.
There'll be a role. There'll be a role.
Because where are you again exactly?
Queensberry.
Queensberry, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're not physically together right now. She's in Rexford, Clifton Park. So that's not bad.
Perfect then. Yeah.
Exactly.
So there you go.
No, so I'm up there all the time, and she's right around the corner. No, it's just perfect. We gotta make it happen. But
I have another movie I'll be going into production to, I think May and on. So
Okay.
I'll let you know. I think that's going to be a series or another anthology. So here's the thing, right? Anthologies are awesome because you do the short story version, you do the feature version, right? But then there's also possibility of making that a TV series because we're still on the low budget scale. If it's a theatrical movie, you just release the movie and that's it, right?
yeah,
But because not everybody sees this stuff, you have a chance to actually release it 3 times. And they're
get new life out of it.
what if the same person watches it 3 times? I go, there you go, whatever.
Yeah,
You know?
and some people would want to watch it 3 times. They want to keep ingesting it, or especially like if it's putting all the pieces together. Like I watch compilations of stuff constantly of things that
Yeah.
I watched already, but because I want
Yeah.
to see it all in succession.
Well, even if they watched like the TV series Echoes of Nightmares features the first 3 movies.
Hmm.
I mean, that came out 2 years ago. So if somebody just watched it once, say they watched all 3, it's just a chance for them to watch it in a different way.
Yeah.
And it's re-edited. There's things cut out. There's some scenes that are kind of shifted.
Ooh.
And I've
Okay.
added a few B-roll shots. Like I added there's a military scene and I added a helicopter going by in the sky.
Nice.
I wanted to do it last time, but I didn't have access to some of the royalty-free video stuff that's out there.
Gotcha. Well, hey, if you need stuff, come down to like Cornwall, Newburgh, West Point area. There's stuff flying overhead constantly with the
Really?
military academy.
All the drones.
No, seriously, seriously. I got a buddy of mine who lives in Cornwall, and because stuff flies over all the time, he's like a near expert in in aircraft. He could
Oh, wow.
point out exactly what's flying overhead. And it's like, oh, that's that kind of military helicopter. Oh, that's that kind of stealth bomber. That's this kind of this. And it's like, how do you know? It's like it's just been here. Like I'm used to it.
So many times it went by.
Yep, exactly.
Oh.
And then like he's got the interest, he learns more, he reads up, and now he just knows. And it's
you go.
incredible. So yeah, if you need more of that, just come down a couple hours south.
All right, they'd be like, "You actually filmed us? We're gonna we're gonna confiscate the footage."
That's true. You don't want to mess with the military on that.
Nope.
That's a good point. That's a good point. What do you
But,
mean? This is totally stock footage.
But it's cool though because I get to redo some horror movie themes. Like over the years, I've redone Halloween theme. I just did the Shape Stalks Lori theme. The
Mm.
da da. I've got my own version of that. You can do little things like that now and put music out there because there's a licensing company I work with or two, and I'll just kind of do either like rock score stuff or maybe some of my demos that don't work out, and I send it to them for licensing. So I'm like, all the stuff that I don't say garbage, but just the stuff I don't use, you know what I mean, is going
Yeah.
this way. So now it gets to be used, and they've released, I think, all of it so far
Really?
almost. So
Good stuff.
it's
good
not
stuff.
stuff, and I'm like, everybody, please listen to this. But it's if you use it for a movie or something like that, which is meant to be what it's for, it's fine. It's perfect. It doesn't have to be the slickest mix in the world and all that stuff. Literally, the stuff I'm making up in one day, mixing it in one day, and doing a light master, and that's it.
Hmm.
So
But it
it's-
works. It works for licensing. It gets, keeps you busy, get some money off of it. I know I've
Yep.
licensed a few things out. I've made some money, not like enough to
Trying to
call it
couple
crazy,
cents,
but
here and there, or whatever.
yeah, nah, I
Yep.
was I was excited when I had this one podcast deal that was licensing one of my things, and like I was actually able to buy dinner with it, and I'm like, yes.
I'm not there with music yet, so
No,
I'm
it was
still
a one-time thing. It was a
I'm still at the
one-time
penny
dinner.
candy.
There you
Remember
go.
penny candy? You can't even buy that anymore. Penny candy is like 50 cents now, I think.
Yeah, no, you can't get
Quarter.
away with it.
But
No, I remember like Party City, you could still buy stuff like dirt cheap in their candy section, but
they took it
they don't
away
e-
for some reason.
well, now Party City's going under, so you don't even have that.
Why
See?
is everything going under? Like everything, big lots come out. So
Yup.
that's another thing is I'm realizing I love movies, but the industry is going to crap now.
Yeah.
The music industry is really on a downhill. That's why
It
I think
is.
people that love music and movies, it's going to be up to people to save the industry, not the corporate dudes or I don't even know what's going on in the music industry right now. Nobody's getting paid anywhere. There's still live shows, but that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah.
It starts and ends.
No, it is tough. And, it really is. Unfortunately, it's the day of the influencer. And it's a matter of, unfortunately, putting out like a crap ton of content. You're trying to stay relevant. You're trying to get the brand deals. You're trying to get people on your Patreon.
But we're still making pennies off of that.
It's
not
still
like we're getting
Patreons. I mean,
paid.
pennies.
Yeah, it's not like we're
pennies.
getting paid.
No.
We're getting free merch and a couple bucks here and there. You can't live off of that.
No, it's difficult. It's difficult. And it's a matter of wearing a bunch of different hats. You're a musician, you're an actor, you're a filmmaker. I'm a podcaster, I'm a musician, I'm a videographer, I'm an editor. So we have all these different hats to try to do everything. Speaking of hats, buy your Walsh Wednesday hat at the Walsh Wednesday.
There you go. Got that and the hoodie and the mug, everybody.
Yep, exactly. And the Frank Palangi mug on his side. There we go.
Threadless.com, you can get all my merch. So I decided a long time ago that I'm not going to carry merch anymore. I'm just going to do digital stuff. So you can go over to threadless.com and find all my stuff because, man, I had a whole closet full of smalls, mediums, large, extra large. That's just for one T-shirt.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I can't do 6 different designs. There's no way.
No, I got the digital merch store too. I'm using Spring for mine. And you can get T-shirts, you can get the hoodies, hats.
Because you have to purchase
mugs.
all this stuff ahead of time, which I think people know, but I'm like, instead of having $1,000 in my closet, you know what I mean? Just buy it online. So
just have the passive
you do
income.
make more when you physically buy the T-shirts and you sell it, but I'm like, it's not worth the hassle anymore. I'd rather make $5 than 12,
But
have
that
no
12,
space.
that 12 is after you already spent $1,000. At least
Exactly.
with the digital online, you're making 5. You're making 5.
Yeah.
You're not paying back that original $1,000 investment.
There's no debt.
Yeah, because been there, done that. Plenty of debt on a number of other things, but at least I don't have debt when it comes to putting out the merch and everything.
I remember some guy told me, he goes, why don't you go and take out a loan? And I was like, because when I went to Nashville and back, and I go, they really want me to do this and this, and I go, I don't have the money. He's like, go take out a loan. And I go, if I don't have it, I am not doing it. I go, I'm not taking out a loan for like 10 grand to record an EP. My first EP cost me $30,000.
Lord,
It was my life savings I spent on it.
holy crap!
It took me a while to.
Where were you producing that out of? Was that like some big Nashville studio or something?
Yeah, it was in Nashville, but it wasn't necessarily all the recording either. It was what came after it.
Yeah, that makes sense. We
need money for radio. We need this. We need this. We need this. Some shows started coming in, some practicing stuff. You need merch now. You need that. You need equipment. You need all this stuff. And I was like, music videos too.
Yeah.
I did a couple of. Mostly, I was lucky. The new school in Albany did my music videos for free.
Oh, nice.
SUNY Adirondack did one for free.
Nice.
I think I paid for like 2 or 3 music videos, but I can't even tell you the cost. And then I had a manager who managed this band. Yes, this band was like kind of like Ashes to New style.
Okay.
And, they were on the charts, they were touring and totally reputable, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he was taking money from all these other indie artists and not doing anything. And you know what he did? He sent me a picture. And so I basically finished his whole backyard and put in a pool for him. And that's, he sent me a picture of it. He goes, you like this stone backyard, blah, blah. And he goes, look at this nice in-ground pool.
And you're over here like sitting, biting your tongue. And I'm like,
yeah. And I was like, you haven't got me one gig. The gig I was supposed to play with Hinder. back then,
Really?
the original singer. And
Wow.
I announced it too, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" I goes, "It's not real." He was like freaking out about it, and I go, "You told me it was booked, right?" He didn't. It was all a lie.
Jeez. And
So
that's
you
what
can,
being shelved is all about,
yeah,
unfortunately.
never pay for a manager up front. I was kind
No.
of desperate a little bit. I was like, "Well, I need these shows," and I go, "He's got a reputable band. They're
Yeah.
touring. They're on the charts. Let's do this." So I was waiting for 4 months. Nothing happening. I lost a guitarist
Mm.
over it because he's like, "When is this gonna happen, dude?" And I go, "I don't know." He keeps saying that it's gonna happen, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, that's tough. Yeah, that's one of the big things that I've learned in the industry. If you're looking for, say, PR, or you're looking for a manager, or you're looking for an agent, yeah, you want to have something where you're dealing more with a case by case basis and they make commission off of it rather than paying them up front and then you never see them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way a couple of times myself. So it's, I think this episode is perfect for a lot of artists out there who are trying to figure it out, and we're just telling them all the things not to do
Yeah. Yeah. I
because
mean,
we've been there.
after 20 years, I'd hope I'd have some advice. It's not like, because everyone was like, "Don't you want to be like a Daughtry or something?" And I go, if that ever happened, that would be great, but not necessarily. I just want to, I like doing it, and I like being around it, and I like
Yeah.
talking to those dudes because it makes me want to step up my game a little bit.
Mm,
And it's just fun. Like, one of my friends was like, "Why don't you go to concerts and stuff more?" And I go, "It kind of kills me to be in the audience." I go, "I want to be
yeah.
even on the side of the stage. I want to be backstage talking to the dudes. I want to help them with their equipment or something." I'm like, I'm not really a sit and listen to music guy anymore. Surprisingly, I'm like, I just want to be in that backstage circle, helping out the whole production.
I
And
hear
I
you.
usually, yeah, I get to now, which is nice. Not on SPAC shows, but
I love spec though. Let's see. I have this meme somewhere. Have you seen the meme where it's a football player in full padding in the stands watching a game? It's like you just want to get in so bad.
yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
I got it for DJs, not for musicians, but I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly. That's
exactly.
how I feel.
That's how I feel all the time. I love going to concerts. I can still attend concerts and thoroughly enjoy them, but there is that part of me that's like, put me in, coach. Like I want to, I want to go. I want to
Yeah,
go. I want to do it.
yeah. It's
Uh,
not necessarily either for me. It's like, or, oh, I always have to play on stage or something like that. It's just
just to be
uh,
involved, just to be there.
yeah, involved with the productions. Like, Kevin Richards up here has his he's a radio DJ too for like Froggy and a bunch of
Yeah.
stations, and he's got his country concerts that he does. So I get to film all the interviews, and then sometimes I'm selling merch and I'm doing roadie stuff, and I'm like, Randy Travis came a couple times,
Oh
and I hung
wow,
out with him for like 8 hours. It was awesome. So it
that's
was like stuff like
sick.
that is just,
That's sick. Yeah,
yeah.
just to be in the room where it happened, right? Is like that's such a great vibe. And Frank, seriously, thank you so much for being on. Before we completely wrap up, is there any last little nugget that you want to share with the Walsh Wednesday listening audience?
Yeah, don't just stream music, but download it from your favorite artist because it helps so much more. And the streaming stuff you can share, you know what I mean? But
Hmm.
yeah, you can go to frankpalangi.com, palangistudios.com, or palangifilms.com. You can see all my stuff there. And all the songs are on all the platforms. Movies are on Tubi, YouTube, all those good places. And just keep sharing and stuff with your friends. And as it keeps building, it'll just keep growing because, as you said, there is no plan B, man.
No plan B. I
Going.
love it. Keep
I
on
see you at the
going.
Eddie Awards coming up too. I don't know if this is going to air, but I got to
When
judge
are
the
the
local
Eddies?
Eddie talent, and I'll be there too.
You're one of the judges? Oh my God, that's awesome.
Digitally, yeah, we did all digitally, yeah.
Still, that's fantastic. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I was stoked for that. I was like, yeah, that'd be great because they're like, well, you can't be an artist in it because you haven't released original music this year. And I was like,
Uh,
okay. He's like, well, maybe you can be a judge. And I was like, that's perfect.
that's badass. That's badass. Yeah, take that opportunity. I
I
got
think you
asked
were on there, dude.
this
I
year.
I think so. I seen your name somewhere, unless there's something you shared.
No, I'm currently up for Hudson Valley Best, and I'm currently up for New York State Broadcasters.
Okay. But I
Unless
swear your name was, I think it was in there, like, because
uh,
there was a list of like 30 people.
I might have been. I don't.
Okay.
Maybe.
And then it got narrowed down.
And that's fine. The fact that my name's on the list, that's sick. Yep, the whole Hudson Valley Best thing. I don't know where that came from. I was like, where did that nomination come from? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Because
So
you're the only Connor that I know. So I go, Connor
yeah,
Walsh. I go, he's on there.
good to know. I'm happy that even if the list got narrowed down and I'm not there, happy to know that I'm on the list somewhere.
Yeah,
That's
I can.
good to
If you're
know.
not too, if I'm on it next year, I can always nominate you somehow again.
That'd be
I
sick.
can add a name in there.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And
right.
if I see anything come my way with your name, that's getting plugged. But again,
All
make
right.
sure that you check out everything that Frank is doing, from his films, his music. We'll even link the Super Bowl commercial he was in, all that. Have that in the description of this episode. Again, Frank, thank you so much for being here on Walsh Wednesday.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
I'm Connor.
I'm Frank.
And as always, we're glad we get to
Spend some time.
And that's a wrap on this week's episode. Much love to our sponsors this week: Impact PR and Communications, the Council on Addiction Prevention and Education of Dutchess County, Foam and Wash Car Wash, the American Heart Association, Walsh Valuation, and Dayrock. Thank you to our Walsh Wednesday All-Stars, all of those who have generously contributed to the Walsh Wednesday 2025 Fund Drive. You can see the list of names on screen or in the description of this episode. And of course, thank you to our Walsh Wednesday Warriors: Jim Robinson, John Newhall, Meg Boyce, and Jenna Hess. These individuals have pledged $100 or more to Walsh Wednesday for 2025, either through the GoFundMe or our Patreon. You can support this channel by becoming a Patreon member with memberships as low as $5 a month. With that, you can get behind-the-scenes content, your name featured in the credits of each episode, and access to the Spend Some Time chat. You can find that and more by scanning the QR code on your screen or by going to the links in the description. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and I'm glad we get to spend some time.